Now let us try to fill out the nice decrement table here using our formula on the side. So how do we do this? Well, let's just start from the first row and see what we can do. So if we want Qx in the first row, Q50, well, based on my formula, I can see that I can use D50 and L50 to find that, because the ratio of deaths is just given by the number of deaths out of the number of survivors at the beginning of the period where I look at the deaths. And this number is equal to 0.0067713. So here I'll write 0. I should probably use a nicer color for that. 0.00677713. Now I go to the next line, and the first thing I notice immediately is I can't find Q51 because I need L51. So let me try to take a look at how to find L51. Well, I know that L50 is this thing here, and I know that out of the L50, 617 of them died. So since I know that L51 is equal to D50, is equal to L50 minus D50, I can find the number of survivors after year 50 by doing this. So this is equal to 91119 minus 617, and that is equal to 90,502. So now I can just fill that in as well. 90,502. And I can actually also use the same trick to find L52. So I would just say this number minus this number, and that gives me 89,837. Yeah. So also what I notice is I can find Q51 in the same way that I found Q50. So I find Q51 by taking the number of deaths and dividing by the number of survivors. And that is then 0.007 34790. Nice. And then what do I have in this one? Well, the only thing missing from here is figuring out what D is based on what L and Q is. So what I do now is I look at this formula. I know that Qx is equal to Dx divided by Lx. So that means that the number of deaths is, well, I can find that by taking the number of survivors and multiplying by the ratio of the survivors that die. And that means that D52 is equal to 89,837 multiplied by 0.0079691. And that number is 716. So the weird thing is, I sometimes feel there's something vaguely unpleasant about sitting here and counting number of dead people and live people. Even though it's quite unpersonal, it's also weird when you sit at work and you have these data sets of people who get sick or who, experience accidents, or you look at whatever they receive in pension, and someday they just croak and die. So it's kind of weird that it is actually real people that have been involved in the making of this table. And while they were not harmed because of the making of this table, what we're doing is actually we're counting number of deaths for people in their 50s. And often these deaths are not natural deaths. They're accident related. They are related to cancer, to other types of illness, and that is not something that we should spend a lot of time thinking about. But it's also kind of it's not cool, but it's still worth noting that it is actually real people that have helped us create these numbers. And while we are not doing statistics on this table in this course, it will be something that you will experience in some of the later courses and that you can look forward to. See you in the next exercise.